In the intricate environment of the brain, where neurons and glial cells maintain a delicate energy balance, the emergence of a tumor disrupts nearly every metabolic norm. Brain tumors, particularly aggressive forms like glioblastomas, are characterized by relentless proliferation and metabolic reprogramming. One of the lesser-known but increasingly scrutinized features of this reprogramming is the role of glycogen. Traditionally seen as a benign energy reserve in healthy astrocytes, glycogen in the context of cancer takes on a far more controversial identity. It may serve as both fuel for malignant growth and a potential metabolic vulnerability, making it a candidate for targeted therapy. Unlike most mature neurons, which rely almost exclusively on continuous glucose from circulation, cancerous brain cells often adopt a more opportunistic strategy. Many accumulate and store glycogen intracellularly, creating a buffer that can be rapidly tapped into during times of metabolic stress, such as hypoxia or nutrient deprivation, conditions that are common in the rapidly growing, poorly vascularized tumor microenvironment. This stored glycogen can be broken down into glucose, 6-phosphate, feeding directly into glycolysis, and the pentose phosphate pathway to generate both ADP and biosynthetic precursors for nucleotide and lipid synthesis. In short, glycogen allows tumor cells to continue dividing even when external glucose becomes scarce, and it offers a layer of metabolic flexibility that normal brain cells, especially neurons, do not possess. This hoarding behavior suggests that glycogen may be more than a passive energy source in brain tumors. It may be a strategic adaptation that enhances survival and invasion. Some studies have found that glycogen stores in brain tumor cells are tightly linked to increased expression of enzymes like glycogen synthase and glycogen phosphorylase, and their regulation is often hijacked by oncogenic signaling pathways such as PI3K/AKT/mTOR and HIF-1A. Under low oxygen conditions, which are typical in high-grade tumors, HIF-1A promotes glycogen accumulation as a metabolic safeguard. This means that blocking glycogen synthesis or mobilization could cut off a critical energy lifeline and sensitize tumor cells to stress, radiation, or chemotherapy. Inhibiting glycogen metabolism is now being explored as a novel anti-cancer strategy. Small molecule inhibitors of glycogen phosphorylase, the enzyme responsible for glycogen breakdown, are of particular interest. By preventing the conversion of glycogen into usable glucose derivatives, these inhibitors may effectively starve tumor cells, especially in hypoxic or glucose-deprived zones. Early experimental models have shown that targeting glycogen pathways can reduce tumor viability and enhance the efficacy of other treatments, such as mTOR inhibitors or radiotherapy. The logic is simple. When cancer cells are forced into a corner metabolically, they lose their plasticity and become more vulnerable to conventional killing mechanisms. However, there is a fine line between selectively targeting tumor metabolism and disrupting essential functions in healthy brain tissue. Glycogen, though sparse in most adult neurons, plays a protective role in astrocytes, particularly under conditions of acute stress or sleep deprivation. Interfering broadly with glycogen turnover risks impairing these supportive cells and could introduce neurotoxicity, if not precisely controlled. Therefore, the key lies in identifying markers that distinguish tumor-specific glycogen pathways from those in surrounding normal brain cells. This might involve targeting isoform-specific enzymes, tumor-selective regulatory proteins, or exploiting synthetic lethality in glycogen-addicted tumor subtypes. Adding to the complexity is the paradoxical role of glycogen in the immune microenvironment of brain tumors. Tumor-associated macrophages and microglia, resident immune cells, can also accumulate glycogen, and their metabolic state influences whether they promote or inhibit tumor growth. Modulating glycogen metabolism in these cells may either enhance immune suppression or restore anti-tumor activity, depending on context. Thus, any approach to targeting glycogen in the brain must account not only for the tumor's metabolism but also for the broader metabolic crosstalk within the brain's immunological and glial networks. Nevertheless, the recognition that brain tumors may weaponize glycogen for survival and expansion opens a new therapeutic frontier. While much of cancer metabolism research has focused on glucose uptake and aerobic glycolysis, the Warburg effect, glycogen represents a quieter but equally critical component of the metabolic arsenal. Unlike circulating glucose, which can be fluctuating and externally manipulated, glycogen is stored internally, giving tumors autonomy over their own energy supply. Disrupting this autonomy could slow their relentless growth and offer new hope in treating malignancies that have thus far defied standard therapies. In conclusion, glycogen in the brain is no longer just a backup fuel for emergencies. It may be a core element of malignant resilience. Whether it is used as a rapid response energy source or a building block for unchecked cellular division, glycogen enables tumors to survive where normal cells would falter. Yet this same dependency may be a chink in the armor. With careful targeting, the pathways that govern glycogen synthesis and breakdown may offer a way to weaken tumors from within, all while preserving, or even enhancing, the metabolic integrity of the healthy brain.